That sounds like me.
That did come from you, and
wow.
so that quote, it really brings out, you know, who you are as a person in your music. All right, thanks for tuning in, everyone, to The Chosen Generation. We're talking about worship today and ministry and how young teens can bump some really serious music that's actually promoting the message of God. So today we have a very special guest with us, Miss Shana Wilson. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
Okay, so about the album, tell us about The Nations Are Waiting. How has it changed you now as an artist and even as a person?
Wow. Well, the album, it changed me recording it in the process of writing the songs and producing the music along with my producer. I was just really blessed by the songs that God was giving me out of the situations I was going through. And this CD is just a testimony of God's grace and His mercy on my life. The Nations Are Waiting has changed me because I've seen people's lives change. They'll come to me often and just say, well, I thank God for you being used and being available to make the type of music that you do. So it has changed me just because it has changed someone else's life and they've been drawn closer to God. So I really appreciate God giving me the songs that He's given me on the album because it's brought me closer to Him. Mm-hmm. Just being able to turn on my own music and worship, it takes me back to the place that I was in producing and recording the music. So it's blessed me and it's changed my life tremendously.
It's so amazing when you turn on this album. I mean, I'm not just saying this because I love the music, but it really gets you into a deep place where God can move through you. It's like it doesn't matter what's going on. Like, wow. I play your album all the time, and anytime I put it in, I know anything that's gone wrong, it just softens my heart to be able to hear from God.
Wow.
And we know that's the only way that we'll be able to move in Him is if we stay connected with Him. Yeah, I don't want to start preaching just yet, but I'm going to read to you a quote.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me who you think it comes from. All right. It says, I'm a very outgoing person and I love God with all my heart because nowadays it's not the same to most people. I love Him more today than ever before. I've learned when God speaks, don't question Him. Just move and do what He says, even if you have to give up the old ways or the old friends.
That sounds like me.
Yeah, that did come from you. And
wow.
So that quote, it really brings out, you know, who you are as a person in your music. Can you tell us about how you started in the church and things like that?
Well, absolutely. My parents are pastors, Bishop Samuel and First Lady J. Wilson, over at Community Christian Fellowship Ministries. We're in the Detroit area off of Gratiot. And before I was growing up, when I was growing up, I've always been in church because they've been pastoring for almost 20 years now. So while I was young, I grew up liking to sing in the choir. I was very interested in music. And my parents, they will remind me and just tell me about when I was younger, how when I was in my mom's womb, my dad would play music. And it wasn't like, it was like all genres, gospel, classical. And he said that they will see, you know, when I was growing up that I would like tune into music. So I can remember back in about elementary school, I started singing in the choir at school, and I loved it. And my parents sing that, so they kept me in choirs, kept me involved in church. And ever since then, I've been singing my whole life now, and I love it.
So I definitely think that your parents and your church, you know, as a family, you know, them loving on you and everything, it helps you really. Do you think it really helps you progress in what you're doing?
Yes, it feels wonderful to have support, and definitely to have the support from the people that knows you best, and they know what I've come from and what how I've grown in the music, and just to see them pushing me. And I recorded the album at my church, and my church family, CCF, they were so supportive. They did everything that I needed them to do, and even to this day, they still just tell me keep moving forward. Sometimes I direct the choir at my church. I'm the choir director, and I'll give them, some tips, and they don't like it sometimes. But they see that it has helped me, so they're very receptive of what I have to tell them. So they're an awesome ministry. I love my family and I love my church family. It's just so good to have a wonderful support system.
That's what's up. And you really need someone, backing you just because they love you, not because they have to.
Absolutely.
And one thing I want to say, I said this the last show. Okay, so I joined the praise team about maybe like 3 weeks ago.
At your church?
Yes, at my church. So, because I've kind of felt that I had a little voice on me, but really because I felt that I could minister to people through song. Mm-hmm. I believe God has blessed me with that, along with other things, But anyway, so I joined the praise team, and it's just so crazy when you step up on the steps, and you have to put your pride back. You have to put yourself back when you see the lights casting down like they are here, casting down in your face.
Absolutely.
And so when you're up there, when you're ministering, you have to get into the game mode. You have to get into that mode. What do you feel when you're up there ministering and that, that you're the person that has to usher in God to the people?
Wow. I often tell the people under my ministry, they'll ask me sometimes, like, how do you feel? Like, how do you prepare yourself? And it's just, I want to get to a place in God and worship at that moment. So I'm not selfish. So I just make it to where everybody comes along with me. And that place that I want to go, I need them to help me. Mm-hmm. And so when I get up there, I release everything. I leave everything behind, and I turn into. I often tell people, like, I turn into somebody else. I don't feel like I'm myself.
Right.
When I'm up there, it's just like God just quickly He moves and He'll shift me, and sometimes I'll listen to some things that were recorded that I sing at, and I was like, did I really say that? And it was just like, wow, God is so amazing.
Exactly.
How when you just get there, it's just a place where it's just you and God. And so being up there it's a wonderful feeling just to know, okay, God trusts me with the anointing to be able to usher people to Him. And so it's just so awesome.
So moving along with your project and your ministry, I think the first time I heard you, I was at Christian Tabernacle. And I didn't know you one-on-one like, now and, the mutual friends and stuff kind of sound like Facebook a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I remember you at Christian Tabernacle, and man, people would shout your name and everything when you came out. And just, the atmosphere changed so much when you came and you began to minister. And I mean, burdens and yokes being destroyed. And it's just because, we're in a spiritual warfare. And sometimes, in this generation, people, the music you hear now, blame it on the alcohol or what, I don't know, Swagger Like Us, something like that. When you see, music like this, and there's other people out there. You got 2103, Kiera Sheard, Spencer Baker, Shana Wilson, the alternatives. And, you don't have to listen what's on 97.9 or 102.7, and it can actually get you closer to God. So you see our generation failing, and you see that, that they're doing things they don't have to do. They're involved in things, even, when I walk up and down the hallways in school, it's just, black, 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 it's bad language, girls, not treating themselves as virtuous women of God. How do you feel as a minister of music, as someone in God's kingdom, that they don't have to accept that?
It actually saddens my heart because I know how it makes me feel just knowing God and to know the impact that He can have on your life, and just to see that most of the people in your school probably know about Him but just choose the alternative route. And it's just like, I don't understand what we can. I don't know what we can do to change this. They're in school most of the time during the week, and they come to church on Sundays. But we have to have a standard of holiness to where you get convicted when you're around people that you shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. And I had to realize that for myself. You don't resemble where I need to be going. Exactly. In Christ. So I have to back off, because at the end of the day, I have to live for me and not for you. You can't give me the blessings that I need. You can't give me the healing. You can't give me the power. I can't get through any circumstance listening to blame it on the alcohol.
Exactly.
After I drink that alcohol, I'm still going to have problems and issues once that.
Anybody want to press a little further? Anybody want to press a little further? Somebody lift your voice into the Lord. Tell him, God, I want to press a little further. Press in your presence. Come on, we about to get out of your way.